Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, team? Hope you guys are all having a great start to your day. Looking at /NG as of right now, we can see that it's looking like it's pulling back just a little bit. Market just opened. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Are we going to get a push up? Are we going to get a sell off? Let me move this on over here. Here we go. Looks like we're getting a nice little push up. Again, don't be so quick to jump the gun if you don't feel comfortable in identifying which direction it's going to be going. For those that have been up for quite a while, you probably have seen all my tags on what it is that I am trading. Natural gas had an enormous push up during extended hours. And as of right now, it's trading right around that $131 price point. Based on how it was trading during pre-market hours, this was a very, very difficult, it has a really strong resistance right around $134. So just make sure that you take that into consideration before taking your overall position. Again, it has a lot of margin to potentially pull back before it continues to uptrend. It's been consolidating a lot right around that middle VWAP area. And as of right now, I'm just trying to patiently wait for it to identify its direction. I've been trading this all morning. I woke up. I haven't been able to really sleep because natural gas has been making higher highs during all morning. All my alerts were going off. I was just so anxious to take action. Luckily, as soon as the market opened, I was able to start taking a position, and it started trending up ever since then. We peaked out. If you guys can see how much it is that I'm up right now, $4,610. By far, my biggest day ever. My biggest mistake was I was up nearly $5,000 and I did not lock in profits. I ended up having to cut losses on this pullback that it had during pre-market hours, and I ended up going down below $4,000 profit. And again, it was like around 3,600, 3,700 that I was at. And I took a position again once I started seeing that it was making higher highs, locked in profits right at around 131 and simply walked away. It was right below 131. So it's covered a little bit over $2 since I sold, and that's really just it. So Ricky can't sleep with all that money to be made. And trust me, I just saw that there was so much potential during pre-market hours. I fell well rested already. I slept like 3 or 4 hours already. I fell asleep at 1 o'clock. So by the time that it was 4, I was pretty much good to go. And I was just so pumped. It's just such a blessing, right? It looks like it's still trying to show signs of an uptrend. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to buy 100 shares right here. I could buy at the, let's see. Here we go. So again, I'm buying 100 shares. I've been trading with about 100 to about 200 shares max. And I've been really just keeping it at that. So again, for those that think that you have to have over $25,000, obviously to buy and sell multiple times, yes. But my biggest trade was when I just bought it and held it and ended up hitting highs of about 130, ended up locking in profits. And unfortunately, tried to get back into again, and I knew that it was extremely overbought. I just made the mistake of, again, being a little bit too greedy, focusing on trying to hit $5,000 profit on the day. Again, it doesn't matter how much you're up, how much you're down. Your overall P&L on the day, your overall entry point is irrelevant. And I honestly regret so much not locking in profits when I was up nearly, I was at like $4,985 profit, nearly barely not under 5,000. And again, I should have focused on the obvious indication of the consolidation, the MACD, very obvious signs. So here we go. We're getting a nice little push up. Again, my position size isn't huge. It's about $13,000. So nothing too crazy. I'm going to have my limit order or my sell order ready, right? So I'm going to put it here, my sell order. So I can see right now that we have some buyers at 134. Again, I feel pretty comfortable just locking it in here. So sold it at 134.276. Again, this thing can continue to uptrend. It's a little bit far away from the EMA line, so I could expect a pullback. And there we go. So look at the MACD, look at the RSI, just continuously taking that into consideration, and that's all I've been doing during pre-market hours. Obviously, this huge scalp, this one was where I made my big chunk of change, and the rest was just where I was trying to add more There we go. So it should continue to uptrend. Natural gas. I have natural gas on this screen over here. You guys can't see it, so if you guys want to have natural gas on your screens as well, feel free to do so. But natural gas just made higher highs on the day. So So 13488, here we go. So I'm keeping a close eye on natural gas. There it goes, making higher highs. So we should see a nice little push up. Sweet. A little bit of a pullback. Let's check this out. Here we go, approaching that 136 resistance. So I'm keeping a close eye. There we go, 136. Can we hit 137? There we go, natural gas still pushing up. No signs of a pullback just yet. There we go, just broke $5,000. Sold. Sold at 137 flat. 150 shares, pulling back. Oh! Oh my goodness. This is my biggest day ever. Holy moly, it's still going up. Now I'm just getting FOMO. So I have to take it easy. The RSI is overextended. It could probably push up to 140 if the momentum is right. I just have to understand that, again, I'm up a certain dollar amount where I don't want to give anything back. And wow, this is my biggest week ever. I'm up over $10,000. Literally, like, what I made this week is, like, on a good month, it's what I could make on a good month. It's so freaking crazy. Alrighty. Alright, so if looking at /NG, so looking at /NG, you can see that there's signs of a potential peak formation. Look at this, right? Showing signs of a peak formation and then sold off. Showing signs of a peak formation. It makes sense. Again, it's not a good deal anymore. Yes, it can continue to uptrend, but you know it just makes sense on why it can pull back. So based on technicals, that's really just it. And again, for those that want to see my overall positions that think maybe I took multiple positions, I can show you guys this right here about, you know, my overall P&L in the day. For those that really care to see it all. I know the Learn Plan Profit team doesn't care, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of everything it is that I traded today. So /NG, again, I see it really consolidating right around that 420 area. So what is that? 424, 420 area. Yes, it can continue to uptrend. Let me see. So DGAS with a very aggressive sell-off. And again, this direction can change right away, but most likely will continue to downtrend. Let's check out SQ's making higher highs. So let's see if it can actually make higher highs on the day and see if its overall direction can change. Here we go again. Again, it's just showing a little bit more signs of a potential peak formation. Do you guys see this? So what I like to explain is that, you know, as something is actively trending up, I really noticed this yesterday, because yesterday all I was doing was scalping, you know, which means buying and selling these stocks and these ETFs as I was like Ubering to the airport, right? And then as I was at the airport and boarding my plane, as something started to show signs of an uptrend, you make a majority of the money when it's actively trending up. After it begins to peak out and after it has that huge push up, if you just continue to try to ride it, again, all power to you. I don't like telling people what to do. I just find the risk to be that much greater because it's so much more overbought. And on top of that, it makes much more sense to, like, okay, you're already up a certain dollar amount. You've already like taken a position, again, thinking that like the odds are always not in your favor. knowing that you're already up on the position and that it's bound to pull back eventually, why not wait for it to pull back, fully consolidate, and then rally once again, and then you can take advantage of that big piece of pie that it offers rather than trying to make, again, the $1 or $2. So like right now it's pushing up and it just hit highs of 138, and trust me, this thing can continue to push up to 140, and trust me, yes, I am going to have FOMO, right? Because I'm just like, wow, if I would have just held, I would have made an extra $1 per share, an extra $200. Again, it's a very small, just think about it in the percentage growth perspective. It's a very small, like, just amount to try to chase when you're already up. And that's why I was so focused yesterday. If you guys saw, all I was tagging you guys about yesterday was when I was locking in profits, reminding you to lock in profits, reminding you that you could always get back in, because I know how volatile these stocks have been. My biggest mistake today, I would have been up over $6,000 today if I simply would have locked in profits when it was here and not ridden this thing. Literally, I sold at almost the lowest price point. I think I sold at like 126 and it sold off to like 124. And I didn't, it sold off to 124 first. It pushed up, came back down, and then on the second sell off, I sold at 126. It was the worst like exit ever. And again, I could have seen that there was at the middle VWAP. I did not exit correctly, lost like $600-700, right? And then it started to pick back up. I bought back in again. And again, I was just making a bunch of mistakes because why? I was emotional, I was chasing the dollar, and I was not focusing on the patterns, directions, or indicators. So Ricky, I wanted to say that starting to use limit buys instead of markers has really helped me to get into more trades, better price, 100%. And I 100% agree. Limit, I mean, you control the price point that you get in and that you get out. Sometimes the volatility with like you guys, and it's just because I'm trading these right now, is a little bit too high that I don't want to miss out on it, that the small, maybe 20-30 cents, I know that's a big amount, but it just moves so quick that I'd rather not miss out on my entry, because I'm usually buying as it's trending up. As you saw, I bought in as it was pushing up already, and then I was green instantly. If I was buying like as it was reversing, then yeah, that would make sense. So as of right now, we have it potentially bouncing off this EMA line. And again, this thing can continue to rally, but it might make a little bit more sense to wait for the bounce off the middle VWAP or wait for the bounce off the SMA line. So I'm just going to stop talking about what it is that I'm trading right now, and I'm just going to set my alerts and simply go off of this and then start breaking down stocks that you guys see value in. So let's go ahead and do that, and then let's go from that. So I did see Frank, how's it going? So ticker symbol JNUG. Ticker symbol JNUG is showing almost a very similar pattern to you guys, right? It's actively trending up. It's showing signs of an uptrend, but it's right around this middle VWAP area. So again, it might be showing signs of a potential sell-off before it continues to uptrend. Also, let's take into consideration /GC. Very overbought, very overextended, might be due for a pullback. So if this happens, yes, it can continue to rally, but if this happens, then that means that JNUG will most likely sell off and bounce right around this SMA line. And again, there's actually this like principle, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but thinking about a slingshot, right? The more that you wait, the more that you build that tension on that pullback, the more patient that you are, and then it begins to show signs of recovery, the quicker that your profits can come. Because if you focus so much as you're pulling back just to like let it go, right, with a slingshot, so it's like when you put the little rock in the slingshot and you just let it go right away, yes, it could potentially bounce up, but most likely like you could have gotten much, like again, it's all about the way that I like to think about it, like when it comes down to like investing in cars, you build all your margin of profit when you buy. So again, like yes, you could always sell it at a certain price point, but you build your margin of profit based on the entry point that you get in at. So yes, obviously your exit matters, but you should already have an exit point in mind based off of a previous resistance or based on the higher high patterns. So if you focus so much more on just identifying a good price point to enter that is showing signs of an uptrend, that's a good deal, and you know, margin of profit is worth it, that's something that I think that would act as more of a positive catalyst for our success, right? So being a little bit more selective, being a little bit more patient. So right now the MACD is not in our favor, right, for ticker symbol UGAS. The RSI is trying to show signs of a recovery, and I did see that, yeah. So ticker symbol JNUG, since it was, so where's JDST at? So JDST is trying to show signs of a recovery, but it's a downward pattern or based off of yesterday's direction. And the MACD is overextended. Here we go. Are we seeing higher highs? What do you guys think about ticker symbol UGAS? And again, is this the best price point that we can get in at right now? I mean, it's not horrible, right? I mean, if it were to bounce here, and then if it were to sell off around like 138, that's still about 2.5%. So I'm just going to have my order ready. It doesn't mean that I'm going to buy. There it goes, starting to make higher highs. Wow, it really pushed up. It pushed up a little bit too quick for me. Okay, so again, it bounced off this EMA line. I waited for the sell-off, bounced off this EMA line. This was not a buy signal. This was not a buy signal. Green candle started to consolidate. We started to make higher highs over here, and then this was the confirmation that it began to make higher highs. Looks like the MACD might start to change direction. And again, we can easily start seeing higher highs on this, but again, now it's struggling to continue to uptrend. So again, I'm just trying to be a little bit more selective with where I enter. Yeah. 100%. So we have Van saying I wouldn't touch DGAS and UGAS with the 10-foot pole. I love those that say no, I won't trade those, because either they're too volatile, you might not just see value in it, regardless of what the case is. If you don't see value in, you know, a stock or an ETF, then you simply should not be trading it. I like that. So Kevin, can you give me an example? So I think I might know why. But Kevin's saying, like, I found that I don't like trading so early, but later on the day, I can see the trend. 100%. So give me 2 reasons why. You already said the first one, because of the trend that you could see. So it's easier to identify patterns. What's the second reason? What's the second reason that happens usually later throughout the day? What's going on, Dan? Super happy to hear that. Volatility, 100%. Volume slows down. You guys have it. You guys understand, right? So first of all, what's one of the most difficult things to understand as the market opens? The pattern. Yes, you might have some direction in which how the stock is trading or the ETF is trading during pre-market hours, but also if you can't understand the pattern and the volatility is super high, that's 2 combinations of extremely, like, that's 2 out of the 3. If you can't understand its direction, if you can't understand its pattern, and the volatility is too great, then that's a very high risk trade. So I love that. I love that he's making the observation that, hey, during, you know, market open, I struggle to identify its pattern, and, you know, the volatility is maybe too high. Well, he didn't say that, I did. Yeah, volatility is crazy. Okay, there we go, Kevin. But again, it doesn't, if you don't feel comfortable trading it, then guess what? You guys should be like, think about you as like someone that sits behind a computer, right? Think about yourself as like Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett, just people handing them paper of like, or of stacks of like paper of companies that you should invest in. That's like you performing your technical analysis, and someone just pitching you like a business opportunity. You're just like, no, 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 right? You should be saying more no. You should be more selective with what you choose to invest your hard-earned money in. And you should start to really work in building your no's. Like, why is it that you're saying no? It's because of the criteria that you identify. So the more that you say no, the better. And you should be extremely selective with what you choose to invest in. So let's check it out. So SQQ sold right back off to this price point. So JDST looks like it's changing directions. Same thing with potentially JNUG. What's it called? Or JNUG obviously changing direction if JDST is. But right now, if you look at /NG, we're right around that EMA line. We're right around that EMA line. We might see a bounce, we might not. So we'll see how this goes. Here we go. LABD looking to bounce. So every time that someone's about to take a position on their trade, I'm going to remind you, slingshot. That's going to be our new thing. So slingshot, again, remember, build all your margin of profit in the beginning. Make sure that it's super pulled back and it's already ready, right? It's already showing signs of an uptrend. You know how you like, when you have a slingshot, you like push it back. It's already consolidating. It's already ready to go back up. Again, make sure that there's no way that it's already showing signs of it making higher highs, that I would much rather focus on getting in later than early. Because again, early means that we still are struggling to identify its direction. I'd be very careful with LABD, very overbought, showing signs of a potential downtrend pattern. I would not swing trade this whatsoever. And there's no signs of a potential reversal on this just yet. It was a strong downward pattern yesterday. Shake and bake, Rick and Bobby. What's going on, Rick? Oh my goodness, this is a whole new thing. You guys are ridiculous. I'm just trying to make these things that like will stick, because again, everyone will remember slingshot, right? So everyone, as you're about to take a position, remember slingshot. Is it about to, is it showing signs of an uptrend? Here we go. Now we're showing a little bit more signs of an uptrend. It looks like, again, we might not want to. There's a lot of consolidation right around that resistance, right around 136 and 137. Locked in $595 profit yesterday on Diaz and $245 profit today. Crazy. Super happy to hear that, Blake. Okay, so you say that UNG is much cheaper, 100%. Yeah. So off of very similar patterns, it is less expensive. I really like the way that you guys trade. So again, you know that I'm not too affected by the price because I focus on the percentage growth. This it just makes a little bit more sense to me. But yeah, if you feel more comfortable and you like how UNG trades, all power to you. If I'm not mistaken, it's under our, yeah, UNG is on our, in my ETF watch list. So there it goes, starting to make higher highs. You guys at 137. Nice little push up. LABU just took flight. Ishmael. Dang, okay. And again, let's just observe that we're approaching an area where it's overbought. Nothing wrong with locking in profits. Yes, it can continue to uptrend, and yes, every cent matters, but again, we're investing for the future, not for today. So let's just remind ourselves that. Armani, I agree. And again, trust me, Armani, like, I've 100% been there so many times. I've experienced so many more red days when I was first getting started than green days. So if you're like discouraged by any means, like, again, just like, I would really focus on, if you're trading with real money, the dollar amount that you trade. Like, forget about trading with large dollar amounts. If you can, like, if you're trading with Robinhood, just focus on like no commissions, or have over $3,000 in your TD Ameritrade account and use promo code 220 and you have free commission for 500 trades. Just focus on the pattern, focus on the growth, focus on the whole learning experience, because again, it's just, I can't put it into perspective like how amazing it feels like just consistently locking in profits, and the difference in like yesterday, like not yesterday, but the day before that, it was Wednesday, when you guys had that huge push and I missed out on that, you know, huge day. Like, I had huge FOMO, right? Like, I could have maybe ended the week at 15,000 or something like that. But again, does that really matter? Is that really going to make me like a better person, make me happier in any way? No, it's the consistent growth that really matters. So I would much rather focus on that than anything else. So the promo was promo code 220. I have a video on it on YouTube, how to get free commissions on TD Ameritrade. I have it on the Learn Plan Profit course as well. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's on TD Ameritrade. What do you think about UWT? UWT still holding above this SMA line. I would give it a little bit more time. I would see if it really begins to make higher highs. There's a lot of consolidation happening right on this like 2050 area. Again, you have nothing but time. It's only been like 24 minutes since the market has opened. Give it time, identify its direction. If it begins to sell off, then guess what? You just identified that, again, it wasn't the best time to buy in, and you just saved yourself a red day. Think about it that way. Instead of going in and thinking that, you know, you're gonna just absolutely kill it today, just think about, like, again, how much you're saving yourself by saying more no. Just make sure it meets your criteria, and if you go in, don't be afraid to, like, take smaller positions just to test the waters. There's no reason to go, like, just all in for no reason. Made 6.5% on UGAS and DGAS today. Thanks. Wow, Will, you're killing it. Okay, so we're getting a lot of consolidation right now with /NG. We're not seeing higher highs. It's really beginning to consolidate. And yes, I am missing out on small margins of like $1, margins from like 136 to 137. But again, that's a very small amount for how much it's overbought right now. It would make more sense to give it a little bit more time, or for the momentum to pick up, for it to continue to rally and make higher highs, for me to take advantage of that. So the FOMO is real on you guys. Trust me, I'm right there with you. But I think we're doing the right thing of just holding back a little bit. Let me not jinx myself right now, right? So what's going on, Ridiculous R? Super happy to hear that. Congrats on your trade. Thoughts on NGVC? What's going on, Alex? Okay, so it has pretty low volume. It also had an up-and-coming earnings report, so it had a pretty positive catalyst for it to drive the price up. Looks like, again, looking at the previous resistance right around $19, looking at where it's at right now, it's not only overbought on the day, but it's overbought on the 180-day chart. So if you were to day trade something because you think that it's going to continue to rally, then all power to you. I would solely treat it as a day trade. But I see a resistance to be here, right? And it's already peaking out. The SMA line is already curling. I would just hate for you to get caught at the resistance and then it begins to sell off. That's the way that I would view it. You guys, again, pulling back. Here we go. What's going on, Sam? What's your best advice? To complete the entire course before getting started. You're more than welcome to ask questions, but again, that's the whole point of being part of the Learn, Plan, Profit community, is to complete the course, and then you're going to be asking much more like relevant questions to what it is that we're doing. So I think that would be a great way to get started. UWT just broke above 2062. Watch out for this. We're now breaking below this EMA line, and I think we might begin to make lower lows. So it might pull back to like the EMA line, to the middle VWAP, but just watch out for this, please. Thoughts on ERIC? We haven't talked about that one in a while. Okay, so it's making higher highs on the day, right? 180-day chart. It's still below the EMA line, so it's still consolidating. And because of the low volume, I like the MACD. Trust me, I like the RSI as well. I just would like a little bit more confirmation for it to follow through with its pattern. Again, the slingshot approach, right? Being patient and waiting for that full-on reversal and higher highs to formulate. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and it has a lot of margin to cover. So we'll for what it is, right? Complete the course yesterday and already ready to trade on Monday. I like that. And again, let's ease into it. Let's not just think that we have it all figured out. Let's make sure that we ease into it, and that we really, with the monetary aspect, like slowly begin to test everything that we learned and make sure that it makes sense, make sure that it's sticking and stuff like that. So can you quickly discuss the positions you have taken today? I joined the stream late. Yeah, so again, I've only taken a position on UGAS. These are my overall profits on the day. You can see the overall positions, that's just it. After this video is finished, you can rewatch the beginning part of it where I was actively taking positions during the live stream, and kind of see how that happened. But yeah, I've just been trading UGAS during pre-market hours. I made the mistake originally. I was up nearly $5,000 during pre-market hours. I didn't lock in profits. It sold off. I ended up being down a little bit over 1,000 on that open, which put me under $4,000 profit. And then I bought back in again. It brought me back to a little bit over like 4,600, and then we cleared a little bit over 5,000 right as the market opened. Here we go. So we're trying to get a nice little uptrend again, but it's really struggling. Oh, that's so cool, Vinny. So saying like, hi Ricky, just wanted to say that I used your free content to grow your to grow my account to $300 and then use that to join Learn Plan Profit. Thanks for what you do. Super happy to hear that, and I hope that you on top of that continue to make more and maybe win one of the giveaways that we continue to have. So I think that'd be really cool. So JDST, again, it's a strong downward pattern. So let's just make sure that we understand that it has been making lower highs and lower lows. So this uptrend might not continue to happen. DWT trending down on the day, so I'm going to remove that. Eric, still waiting to confirm the uptrend. I just know that I'm not going to trade it today. Strong downtrend as of right now, making lower lows. Not going to trade that today. Disney, not going to trade this today. Not enough margin. LUV, strong sell-off. I think this one would be nice to just stay up to date with, but definitely not going to trade it. Showing signs of a potential like consolidation and peak formation right there. Do you guys see this? A lot of consolidation, why it might come back down. So again, with a descending SMA line, so maybe a reason why not to trade it. Trigger symbol FE, super overbought, amazing pattern. We've talked about this one multiple times before. I'm going to set my alert for when it's in that good deal range and simply wait up for it. So again, congrats to all those that were able to kill it with that. Trigger symbol UGAZ, right back up to about the $138 price point. So we definitely did. I missed out a little bit right there. So we're right around 138, starting to make higher highs. It's about 2%. There we go. It's starting to rally. Just made higher highs on the day. There we go. Approaching that potential 140 price point. There we go. Ooh. And time to sell off. Ricky got in. Yeah, got in very late, honestly. So here we go. I'm watching. I'm keeping a very close eye there. We got a red candle forming. Might see a pullback. There we go. Now in the red. There it goes. Continuing to rally. Here we go. Oh, there we go. It's gone red. I didn't do a good job with my entry. That was my fault. 100% my fault. But don't worry. It's going to go up when I sell. So. Wow, I did a really bad job with that entry. We were talking about it when it was at 136. It made higher highs. I should have entered there. And that would have been a nice little push. But again, I didn't do a good job with my entry. And that's what led to my overall red trade. Or not red trade. I still ended up green, but barely. I think $100. 3% off, you guys. Yeah, that was a pretty solid play. That was a really very solid push. And again, I didn't have to wait and ride it as it was consolidating. All I had to wait for was the break. Did you guys see this? When it made higher highs, that's when it made sense on when to trade it. But yeah, where did I sell that one? At 14228. So not bad, actually. Much better than what I thought. Look at that RSI. Look at that MACD. Yes, it can continue to rally, but again, it could also pull back quite a bit. So 7.34% off you guys. You guys are freaking killing it today. Yeah, so got in on TQQ. Let's check that out. So let's check out Gosh. Gosh is pushing up on the day. That's weird. It should have been. I thought it was selling off. Okay, it's starting to show signs of a potential reversal. LABD selling off on the day, so that means LABU is trending up. There we go. Holy profits. Wow. Again, FOMO, right? Sucks. All right, let's continue to move on. /CL. Now starting to show signs of a recovery. This is very different because this is one of the first times as it's actually trending above. Do you guys see this? Above this overall EMA line. So this is very exciting because it has a lot of margin to cover, which means that if DWT is down, right? Look at all this margin that it has to sell off. Now that means that UWT might be something that we might want to pay attention to when it begins to make higher highs. It has a lot of margin to cover. So UWT. There we go. There we go. JNUG is now beginning to sell JDST. Just like we expected, we came overbought, and there goes JNUG. And then Eric, we talked about that. Very low volume, so remove that. Looks like /NQ is very overbought, which means that, is it SQs that follows this? Oh, too many Qs. Okay, so it's TQs that follows this. So this is now starting to show signs of a potential reversal. So let's calculate what the margin of profit is. Okay, so it's pretty decent. And again, we just need to be waiting for higher highs and simply go off of that. But so I'm going to remove D as that's not trending up on the day. And then majority of these are all ETFs. Well, what's this? Let's see. Oh, wow. 13% today. Huge. Oh, we've had this one. Oh, I had its earnings. Yeah. And it touched its resistance right around $19. So, oh, we were talking about this one right now. So on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, it looks like it was consolidating here and then ended up pushing up to that $19 resistance, which makes sense based off previous patterns. So going off of this, I'm just going to set an alert for a pullback as when it would be a better buy. Okay. Yeah, so Duck, first of all, thank you again for joining. We do have a video in the Learn Plan Profit course that shows you exactly how to set up your TOS to make it look like mine, if that's something that you want. All right, /NG is super overextended again. SQQQ now making higher highs. Here we go. Watch out for the potential resistance right around that middle VWAP as it was selling off pretty much all day yesterday. So definitely understand its direction. You can look at the 5 day, 5 minute chart and see that. Also look at the 20 day, 1 hour chart, kind of where it stands, right? So don't be afraid to lock in profits if you don't feel comfortable with it. And if you don't see the margin of profit to be worth it, then guess what? You don't have to take a position. All right, there it goes. It's just really consolidating at that resistance, and then it like slowly pushes up, and then it pulls back a little bit lower, and then pushes up, and then it goes a little bit lower. So I'm just kind of skeptical to get back in. So Craig is asking, can you talk more about the candles and the directions that they may indicate, please? All I focus on when it comes down to like let's talk about like when this thing, like when I should have gone in, right? So there's a lot of consolidation happening right around this EMA line. So it pushed up, pulled back, consolidation, right? Building a support here, and then it began to push up above this EMA line. And then when it made higher highs, not only with the candles, but also on the day, then that made sense on why, I would potentially want to get in. It pushed up, slight resistance right around 142 as you can see the consolidation. That makes sense on why to lock in profits there, which is why I did. But then again, at a huge push up again, that has to do again with its volume and its volatility that's going on right now. And now that we're kind of flatlining right here, we're not seeing higher highs. We're seeing a lot of consolidation, which means that we're approaching a potential resistance. Looking at the MACD, looking at the RSI, it makes sense on why it can begin to pull back and maybe why it's not. Again, momentum and volatility can always hit, and if you see the candles start pushing up, then you can trade based off of that and making higher highs. But ultimately, again, I like to keep it super simple and focus on making sure that it's a good deal. And then when it begins to make higher highs after that recovery, then to begin to take a position. Right now, again, the risk becomes so much greater as it's so overbought. So it's just waiting to pull back. Sweet. Thoughts on Cron? Let's check it out. Okay. Alrighty. Again, the SMA line acting as a resistance, so we can see that it's been making like lower highs. So it is pushing up, showing signs of an uptrend. I just wouldn't be a huge fan of holding this overnight, especially because it has had such a consistent downward pattern. I could see that the resistance might be right around like the 943 area, and on the day it looks like it is trying to trend up. It's right around this middle VWAP. I would just focus on, again, this thing making higher highs. I would try to look a little bit closer on the 5-day 5-minute chart and try to look at its patterns on when it's a good time to buy, when it's a good time to sell, and it just doesn't look like it's the best time to buy as of right now, and it's selling off, right? So from Sweden, you trade INT stock. Can you check out Softronic B? I don't know what that is, man. I'm sorry. There we go. You guys again pushing up. Natural gas making higher highs again. I have it over on my screen over here, so you can see here, making higher highs again. Super overbought, super overextended. There we go. Strong push. Just made higher highs on the day. Alrighty, AMD. So again, there's a lot of consolidation happening right around the 2040 to, what is this, like 2070 area. It just, again, makes sense on why this is more sell territory and it's been consolidating. Yes, it can make and continue to make higher highs, so that's why I would look at the overall direction, but its direction has been trending down and it's been selling off since its peak at around $21, so it makes more sense on why it would begin to continue to sell off. So, but then on the 20-day, 1 hour, AMD has been pretty volatile. It's been pretty inconsistent, so here we go, pushing up again, and again, more of the sell range as it approaches like the 270 area. So if it begins and continues to uptrend, then I would take a very small position just in case you have like FOMO, but again, I wouldn't really focus too much on that. Super happy to hear that, McCarthy. Yeah, so Joshua, just like Crystal is saying, if you don't have real-time quotes, we've talked about it before. If you're within the United States, you simply have to call TD Ameritrade. They answer within a couple minutes, and you tell them that you want access to real-time quotes. I did it with Ishmael, for Ishmael, and it was very simple. So, alrighty, guys. So I'm pretty much done for the day. We can see that you guys is definitely making higher highs, and it's definitely continuing to push up. But I think I'm just gonna call it a day with my trading. I'm gonna do my recap on YouTube, and then that's really just it. It's so overbought. Yes, it can continue to uptrend, and if I see it really pushing up, then I might go back in again. But I'm up so much already today that I just don't want to give any of it back, and I just want to lock in profits. So I'm just in fear of giving anything back. I just want to make sure that I manage my risk. So can you buy us a laptop? LOL, Valerie. Again, we're going to be doing a laptop giveaway soon. So, and we're doing the $500 giveaway this Saturday. And it's just if you're enrolled in Learn Plan Profit. So you don't have to do anything special. And again, if you want to shout us out on your Instagram and tag me and tag Tech But Solutions, we'd greatly appreciate it for the giveaway tomorrow. So thank you guys again so much for your time. I wish you guys an absolute just amazing and safe weekend. Hope you guys all lock in profits. Again, we could always get back in if you have, fear of missing out. Trust me, like I keep seeing you guys going up, and I want to get in again. I just don't want to give any of my profits back. And it's okay, right? Either follow with a stop loss, have something in place to manage your risk. Just please have a reason and an action for everything that you do. Make sure that you set precaution. But yeah, thank you guys again for your time. Hope you guys have an amazing Friday. Be safe and make someone smile today. Thank you guys again. Take care.